All right, thank you guys. Happy Saturday to you. The Braves take on the Dodgers, Game 6, and that's going to be a 4:38 p.m. Eastern first pitch in the NLCS. Dodgers down 3-2 in the series, but despite being down a game, LA is still the $1.50 favorite on the money line. Totals 8 runs. We're 2-0 in our last 2 daily best play tier package picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And access to that content costs just $1.99. We're also hitting at 67% in our last 19 crowd pleaser teasers on that site as well. We currently have over 795 active members signed up to that site, and both of those memberships have monster plays going off today. So if you want to check out that website or join in on the action, a link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/Brock Page. Now, the Braves are plus $1.25 for an outright win here today. Very good price point for them. And if you like them on the run line, they're minus $1.65, catching the 1.5. We got Max Fried for the Braves, Walker Buehler for the Dodgers. Now, Buehler struggled with his control in his last start. 5 walks and a ton of pitches in Game 1 of this very series. The Dodgers did, in fact, lose that game. Buehler hasn't gotten through more than 5 innings in any of his 3 postseason starts. Now, Buehler's also got a postseason whip of 1.38. So several key pieces of this powerful Dodger lineup have struggled in this 2020 postseason as well. Chris Taylor's batting just 161 in the playoffs, a dozen strikeouts, no RBI. Justin Turner's also batting just 211 in the postseason, only a pair of extra base hits and 3 ribbies for Turner. Now, this Dodger lineup is striking out 9.4 times per contest in the playoffs. They're taking on an Atlanta squad who's got Max Fried on the bump here tonight. You certainly don't want to see him on the mound. He's got a 3.27 ERA and a 1.09 whip in the postseason. Max won a dominant 7-0 for the entire season, both regular and playoffs. Max has a 2.25 ERA and a 1.09 whip. This Braves pitching staff has pitched 4 shutouts in the 2020 postseason. They're also striking out their opponents 9 times a game on average. Now, the Braves have won 8 out of their last 10 ball games, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 when they bat first. Marcell Ozuna's leading the club in postseason hits with a dozen of them. He's got a playoff batting average of .279 with 3 homers and 10 ribbies. Ozzie Albies, he also has a dozen postseason hits as well. 7 runs scored and 20 total bases. Ozzie's also batting .293 in the postseason. Freddie Freeman's batting .306 in the playoffs. Travis d'Arnaud is batting .294. Certainly a good amount of run production out of this potent Atlanta lineup. They rank in the top 3 in run production, top 3 in hits. The Braves are scoring nearly 6 runs per contest for the entire season, along with 9.2 hits per contest. They also get walked 4 times a game on average as well. Certainly good getting those free passes. Now, total-wise, I do think tonight's game should probably end up continuing to go on the series trend. Max Fried saw 5 out of his last 7 starts get over the posted total. Plenty of run support for Max. 7 out of Atlanta's last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Dodgers got over the line as well. Meanwhile, 6 out of LA's last 7 got over the total themselves. Give me the underdog Atlanta Braves plus 1.5 and the over 8 runs in that game. Before we go ahead and dive into this next and final matchup for the show, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's MLB baseball action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you guys got a great start to your weekend. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content here, just got to remind you real quick that we are currently 2-0 in our last 2 daily best play tier package picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And access to that content costs just $1.99. We're also hitting at 67% in our last 19 crowd pleaser teasers on that site as well. We currently have over 795 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join them and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. And moving on, we're going to take a look at the Astros Rays Game 7. It all comes down to this, 8:37 p.m. Eastern start time. Series all knotted up at 3 games apiece. The Rays are minus $1.25 on the money line. Totals 8 runs. The Astros are plus 105 for an upset win. And if you like Houston to cover the 1.5, they're minus 210 catching the 1.5 on the run line. Looks like we're going to see Lance McCullers on the bump for the Astros here. Charlie Morton for the Rays. And as good as Charlie Morton's been recently, he still has an ERA upwards of 5 for the entire season. 4.74 to be exact, with a suspect 1.40 whip. Not only does this Rays roster lack significant postseason experience, a lot less than this Houston lineup, but they also have lost their last 3 straight after taking a commanding 3-0 lead. They're averaging just 3.5 runs per contest in the series, and they've scored just 3.7 runs per contest in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Houston. The Rays are also averaging just 7 hits a game within their last 10 meetings with the Astros as well. Now, this Tampa Bay Rays lineup ranks in the top 3 in the league in most strikeouts at the plate, and that's for the entire season. These guys strike out a lot. They're averaging double-digit strikeouts a game. They've also struck out 139 times at the plate in 13 postseason games. They're in the bottom 10 in the league in hits on average per game as well. Tampa's stud outfielder, Brandon Lau, who was unreal in the regular season, had a great year. He's batting just 104 in 48 ABs in the playoffs right now. 16 strikeouts, just 2 ribbies for him. Willie Adams is also batting a measly 139 with 15 Ks and 0 homers. Even Joey Wendell finds himself batting just 222 in the playoffs with 0 extra base hits and only 2 RBI. They are taking on a red-hot Astros team right now who scored 15 runs in their last 3 ball games. Houston strike out. Let's try that again. Houston strikes out just 7.2 times a game, which is ranking in the top 3 in the league in fewest strikeouts per 9. Houston also ranks in the top 10 in hits on average per game when they bat first. Michael Brantley's got 17 hits in the postseason, 347 postseason batting average with 11 RBI and 10 runs scored. Carlos Correa is also batting 372 with 6 homers and 15 batted in. 35 total bases for Correa in the playoffs here, which currently leads the ball club. And even Jose Altuve just always seems to be on base after a really lackluster regular season. Jose's batting 364 with 11 RBI and 11 walks. Altuve's got a team-leading on-base percentage of .500 in the playoffs. He's also second on the club in total bases with 33. And with a lineup that's been hitting like that, Lance McCullers' 3.93 ERA and a 1.16 whip for the season should be more than enough to get the job done here today. Now, total-wise, this series saw 5 out of its 6 games stay under the posted number. 8 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings also stayed under the line. Tampa Bay is officially 7-1 to the under in their last 8. Give me the underdog. Astros plus 105 and the under 8 runs in that game. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today on Patreon, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.